adopting a tax rate before we go any further. In which I'll like to review the city's fiscal year, schedule the review of the budget issues, review of the tax rate, and review some alternate impacts. Missouri City is unique. I don't know if you know that or not, but we're unique. We're one of just a few cities that have a 6/30 year-end budget. So we adopt our budget in June. We start that budget process in January. And as we do that, we don't have our certified values until late August or sometime in August. And so we have a preliminary and we estimate those values. Our budget is set before we know our actual values. We must receive both Harris County and Fort Bend County appraisal districts to calculate our effective and rollback tax rates. So we do that a couple months after our budget is passed. When we went through the budget process, as we always do, some of the things that we not only try to streamline any project or budget that we have, any program that we might have, but we also are presented with some additional programs. And one additional large program was the pay plan adjustment or our compensation and benefits package that was directed by the 2013 budget. We completed that study and presented it to council and council committees beginning in March of 2013. On March 25th, we presented the compensation benefits study to the Compensation and Benefits Committee that includes Mayor Pro Tem Wyatt, Councilmember Smith, and Al. On April 1st, the staff presented the CBS, is the Compensation Benefits Study, to the Finance Committee, which is consisted of Mayor Pro Tem Wyatt, Councilmember Emery, and Councilmember Wynn, and also to the full City Council. On August 8th and 15th, we presented the ordinance and the council adopted on 2 readings the compensation benefits package, including a requirement for a 2.57 cent tax rate increase to fund these adjustments. That was done in April. I'm going backwards. I want to go backwards. Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you. There we go. Well,
what side are you looking for? Tell me
I'm going the wrong way.
Wes, yours doesn't work.
This doesn't work?
Yours doesn't. What side are you looking for?
This was getting me off. I don't have a number. Budget development continued. Bill, one more. One more. Yeah, right there. As part of the process, like I said before, we evaluated all programs and found cost savings wherever we were possible. And since 2010, we have cut 13 non-public safety positions out of the budget. And so as we culminated the budget to be presented to council, there were 3 programs, 2 besides the pay plan adjustment, that were recommended to council. That would include the pay plan adjustment, 5 unit police motorcycle squad, and the firefighter to complete the 4-man rotation. That all involved 3.87 cents, I believe. In looking at the tax rate and how that was proposed, we adopted the budget for the 2014 fiscal year. It was based on the tax rate of 0.5835, and we did that in June of 2013. In August, we received our certified values and calculated the effective tax rate and the rollback tax rate. The rollback tax rate came in at 0.581746, which, as you can see, is lower than the adopted tax rate. So we can, if we were to go over that rate, that would require a petition, trigger, and that kind of thing. So we managed to say that we could adopt a tax rate of 0.57375, and which would result in a $581,000 shortfall that we could manage with the contingency funding and other program amendments that we would make over the course of the year. And that's what was presented as a tax rate. This is a schedule of the effective tax. The last year's tax rate of 0.5448 is the first column. The second column is the effective tax rate, which is 0.535165. The next column is the rollback tax rate of 58 cents. And then the last column is the proposed rate of 0.57375. And then we've included some, I don't know if you can see them or not, but some home values. If you had an $80,000 home, the difference would be a $23.16 increase. If you owned a $160,000 home, it would be about a $46 increase. And if you owned a $300,000 home, it would be about an $86 increase. Next. We wanted to kind of show if this tax rate is not proposed, then the law provides that the rate would go to the lower of the last year's rate or the effective tax rate. And that number would be the effective tax rate, which would be 0.535165, which would result in $1.6 million worth of a shortfall that we would have to make budget cuts for. Next slide. I want a few things to note. I wanted to point out the total general fund budget is a total of about $35 million. The personnel costs within that fund is $24 million. And we have other contractual obligations that we're required to pay for utilities and those kind of things, as well as other fixed costs that amount to $6.5 million. So the remaining $4.5 million is things like materials for streets, road materials, internal services, for fleet service, for IT services that are charged back to each department would be $4.5 million. And so that would probably where that cut would come from. Public safety, just a side note, public safety expenditures, that includes fire and police, amount to about $20 million of that $35 million budget. Next slide. And in summary, we've reviewed the budget and we've examined all programs within the general fund budget and have made them wherever we could. We've also, the 2014 budget was adopted to include 3 new programs that included the pay plan adjustment program, the motorcycle, police motorcycle unit, and the firefighter. Next slide. And just to review, the last year's tax rate was 0.5448. This year's proposed tax rate is 0.57375. The difference being 2.895 cents. And that is to fund the 3 new programs. That's all I have.